Luke Nick family, welcome to the show. Queen's Court on Nothing But Nick's channel. Sorry about that. Major technical difficulties. Thought about not even having the show, postponing it till tomorrow, but it was you guys in the chat kicking it with each other, and that made us say, you know what, I think we can do it. And so here we are. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you'll be notified anytime we go live. Queen's Court, of course, anything by Knicks and Bruises on this channel, the controversy, the NBA report from Ron and John from Still Knicks fans, and of course, from Simeon Russell, the creator of the channel, pregame, postgame, morning shoot around, coach's corner, and anything else he wants to drop um, on this channel. We have a lot to talk about. I think we were, what, 2-1 when we last met? Or was we 1-1? I think 1-1 when we last met. Whatever. 2-2 over this past week. First two games made us think this team might be a little special. The next two games got some people doubting heavily in Nick fandom. Anyway, let me bring in my guest, Tony Crow, DJ Shuttle. And I just want to quickly shout out those who were in the chat, hanging in there. King Ribby RM, appreciate you. Deron Wayne, Sherwin, of course, Parish Duggar, appreciate you. Geraldine, Greg, Angel Torres, Pudge Nice, JJ, E. Gibson, and I think I got every Geraldine MacGyver. I appreciate you, JJ. I may have said that already. Just Kerry Cox, appreciate you hanging in there. It's about to be a good show. Stafford Don, feel free to join us. I dropped the link. I DM'd the link as well. How you doing, fellas?
Peace, Queen. What up, Shuttle? Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time.
All aboard. We here. Another exciting Queen's Court. Can't wait.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about it. I'm gonna get right into it. We're gonna talk about ooh, what happened here? Sorry, guys. Last week's game, just real quick. This is just a overview. We beat Orlando 115 to 102. We beat Charlotte in overtime. Remember that barn burn? It seemed like 2 weeks ago, 134 to 131. Then we lost to Milwaukee at Milwaukee, 108 to 119. And then Cleveland at Cleveland, 108 to 121. You guys see it here. You know what some of the Knicks did, what some of the opponents did. I'll leave that slide up there for a little bit. But fellas, I just want to ask you, what's your overall impressions before we go a little deeper on this 2-2 week?
Sure, I'll jump in. Overall, I think that if you asked me, we beat the teams I think we should have beat. And while I think we played hard and could have won any of those games, especially the Cleveland debacle in the fourth quarter, I think the teams that we lost. I mean, I look at Milwaukee. I look at Cleveland. I look at these teams as like rosters are really, really good. Like I don't really have a shame in losing to them. So, you know, I think we are where we are. I thought we'd be 500 after 6 games. We're 500, and you know, I don't think there's anything overly surprising. The defense, though, especially the perimeter defense, is it makes me cringe sometimes. That's what sticks out to me in terms of the most negative, like really strong, and those 3-point percentages that the other teams are shooting. It's just, I mean, Cleveland, what they shoot 46% from three.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
I think they took 50
Sheesh.
pointers and hit 23 of them.
Charlotte almost 42%. I mean, Orlando. I mean, I don't know if they even won a game yet, so they don't even count. But yeah, I mean, between the 3-point shooting and the ability to get past your man by the opposing guards, it's it's just an outright travesty out there.
Yeah, yeah. Tone, your impressions on this 2-2 week?
Yeah, sorry about the delay. I was getting mesmerized by my reflection in Shuttle's glasses. So um
Oh wow, there we go. Bong.
um I mean, good points by Shuttle. I think, you know, it would have been an easy thing to overreact and go crazy about these losses. But to be honest, we put up a pretty decent fight in Milwaukee, and the Cleveland game. It was poor execution in the fourth quarter,
Right,
and Donovan Mitchell was just on
Donovan
fire,
Mitchell.
right?
He was
You,
Donovan
you know what I
Mitchell.
mean? Like, he had one of his games, like you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I feel like, to be honest, I'm still confident in the team because one is still early. I'm glad we go through these kind of situations early, where the Cleveland game they should feel like they could have won and they let one slip away. You know what I mean? So these are things that they know they got to work on. Um, and Shutter, you said exactly what I'm feeling. That perimeter defense has been bad,
right.
more than just in the losses. You know what I mean? So that's something that we're really gonna have to fix, and we need to get consistent at that 3-point shot. So it's like the three is killing us on both sides, offensively and defensively.
All right. Well, but the sense I'm getting is that you guys are not panicking. Um, okay. Freezy, we were 2-2 this week. What's your initial impressions before I get deep? I got some hard questions today, but I'm gonna start with the easy one. What's your impressions on this 2-2 week?
Claude, have mercy. I knew you was gonna have some hard questions for us. Hey, what's up? What's up, Tone? What's up, Shadow? What's good, y'all? Um,
Peace, family.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. I think it's too early to say. I'm really, really wanting to allow this grand meal put together by the front office cook. You know what I'm saying? Let it stew a little bit. I don't want to overreact. Either way, in a big win or a bad loss, I don't want to overreact. I think it's too early. I do believe though that this Tom Thibodeau looking to expand the rotation and have faith in the kids thing is real. I do believe that is real. That might be the only thing that I'm willing to kind of um, establish a platform on. Everything else, I think it's way too early. I think some of the teams that we beat and some of the teams that we lost to don't even know who they are yet. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them things. We got Game 7 coming up, so
Wow. So I was in a few chat rooms, including yours, Freezy. That was earlier today, and the chat was going crazy, jumping
yeah,
off the ledge, jumping into the Hudson.
right.
Um, but this panel seems to be pretty cool. So I
Yeah,
just want to take the temperature of the chat. We're 2-2 this week, 3-3 overall.
yeah.
Is that about where you guys thought we would be, or are you disappointed? I know JJ. How does the perimeter defense get fixed? Fournier, RJ, and Brunson aren't getting any quicker. Um,
We need Grimes back.
Jay's Beers, Brunson is not the answer to make the playoffs. Okay. Well, listen, that is a perfect segue because, like I said, we are moving right along here. All right. So, in my opinion, this team is going to go as far as Brunson, Randle, and Barrett takes it. Now, we have a good bench. They're averaging, I believe, 44.5 points per game, second in the league. I like our center combination between Mitch and iHeart. That's important. I like our situational players. If someone was to get hurt, and Sims and McBride, and even you could throw Farron Hunt in there. But these three guys, in my opinion, Brunson, Randall, and Barrett, we're going to win 50 games, get to the 6th seed, all this we were talking about. is going to be because of these three guys. And so I got what their statistical, not their advanced stats, but just points, rebounds, whatever, for all three of them in total. The first 4 games where we played, I could have even put Memphis in with Cleveland and Detroit. But anyway, the first 4 games and then the last 2 games when we played Milwaukee and Cleveland, both in our division, both tough teams, both projected to finish ahead of us, and both, if you want to say measuring sticks at this early in the season, you can. But um, let's start with Brunson. He's averaging 18 points, four rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.7 turnovers, which is phenomenal. Shooting 47% from the field, 33.3% from three-point land, 73.9% from free throw line. Now, the last 2 games against Milwaukee and Cleveland, there was a big dip, right? First 4 games, 20 points, then 14.5. Shot 51.7% from the field in those first 4 games, then 37.9% from the field. 41% from three, down to 14%. I had to double check that. But that's right, 14%, 60% from the free throw line in the last 2 games. All right, we're focusing on Brunson right now. So the question I have, looking at Brunson, do you think it's an adjustment for him? I'm gonna start off with the easy one, then I'm gonna move to the tougher ones. Do you think it's an adjustment for him as well? Coming from a team where he was playing with the best player on the team to now being on a team where he's arguably the best player. Do you think that it is an adjustment for him as well?
I think the fact that you're saying arguably is why it's an adjustment. Because if he's not, maybe it's still it's an adjustment either way. If he is the top guy on this team, the best player, he wasn't that before, so he's gonna have to adjust to that, when knowing when to take control, when to kind of relegate some responsibility. And then even if he's not, let's say Randall still is, or RJ, or whomever, he still has to adjust to those guys, and knowing the same thing. When do I have to see when they're not on, and know that I got to take over now, as opposed to taking over from the beginning, and then spreading the love, spreading the wealth. So I think it is an adjustment, but it's probably more mental than anything else, because I think his game didn't change in between the losses and the wins, or the first 4 and the last 2. He just didn't shoot as good. You know what I mean? He didn't play as well, but the way he played didn't change. So I think he has to adjust to his teammates, but his game is going to be his game regardless, which is a good thing.
I mean, what I will say to that, and then I'll get to Shuttle and then DJ Shuttle and then Freezy. And this is the second question, and you guys can answer this one as well. Did you expect more from Brunson in the Milwaukee or Cleveland game? And I got to be honest, I did. Like that was those 2 games. I felt I didn't feel like he had command of the offense and the team like I did in the Charlotte game, for example. I felt in those 2 games he didn't really stand out. Now, he's had poor shooting games. And I don't know if it was Detroit, I don't know if it was Orlando where he didn't shoot well, but he had his fingerprints all over that game. These last 2 games, not so much. And I don't know if part of that is him adjusting to the fact that they're keying on you now. They're keying on you. You at the top of the chart. You on the defense. You on the game plan. As well. And I'm sure you were. Then as well. I heard the Milwaukee coach. I forget his name. You know, basically talking about his footwork, his this, his that, his that. In other words, we got him. We've been talking about him. We know what he does. And they came right on with Javon Carter.
Mhm.
Defensively, they were very physical with him. They made it difficult for him to turn the corner. He had to fight for everything he got. And those two games, Cleveland, he bust out a little bit in that third quarter. But those two games, I'm not worried about Brunson, but it did make me think that this is going to be an adjustment for him being on the team as without a Luka as an outlet, so to speak. For the entire season, this is you. Um, and he just didn't look as well. His fingerprints wasn't on it those next two games. But I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say.
But you don't think he just missed more shots? Because
Mm-mm.
even in, I forgot what game it was, but he did have a bad game within those first four. I forgot
Mhm.
which one it was, but even within that bad game, he came on late. So he kind of finished it with what we was kind of expecting from him. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think
I,
he
I
he
thought he was in it.
attempted I
Go
think
ahead.
he attempted to kind of take over or put his stamp on these last two games as well. It just didn't convey. So that's what I
Oh,
mean.
the effort was definitely there. The
And then
effort was definitely there.
with the adjustments, basketball is really a game of adjustments anyway, right? So whether it's within the quarter, game to game, like you said, he's on a scouting report, probably number one on a scouting report as opposed to number two, previously. But so yeah, he's gonna have to adjust to that. And then once he adjusts, guess what? The other teams are gonna have to adjust, and then vice versa. So it's a continuous pattern of adjusting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm just bringing up my little that he just and maybe it's to be expected because these are tougher teams. But DJ Shuttle and then Freezy. Oh wait, let me add
Yeah,
Stafford in here.
I
Yes,
absolutely,
how are you?
I, I
The
absolutely
best.
gotta pay respects to Milwaukee. Milwaukee is absolutely one of the better defensive teams.
No doubt about it.
Perimeter, in the paint, shot blocking. They shoot well on offense. They shoot a good field goal percentage. They get back on defense. You don't get easy baskets against them, so they're going to be a tougher team. But generally speaking, not only is it an adjustment mentally, but physically it's an adjustment now because you you know like you don't have like we quote unquote plays off the way you could take a play off with Luca, who can just dominate the whole possession, and you don't even touch the ball one or two times down the court and it's not even a big deal. You get a lot of possessions. He's able to manage it. They're not relying on you and depending on you as a team to to be there. And I've actually not only Brunson, I'll just also add that I've seen the team collectively, the pace is up the way I had been hoping and predicting it would be for the team. And I definitely see guys a little winded out there, Brunson and the team. So hopefully the coaches can catch wind of this, all pun intended, and they get guys in and out a little faster, and this helps to preserve them and makes them, they have better legs, their arms are better, and they can be ready to have the impact that we want. And I think that's part of it with Brunson is that I don't want to say he's getting worn out, but it's definitely more demanding what he's being required to do than he's ever had. Except for that, the stretch when Luca wasn't playing. So it's a whole different thing though. With mentally, physically, I'm the guy. They're planning for you. they're strategizing against you, and and you're also playing against tougher teams, man. I mean, we can say whatever we want about Cleveland. Cleveland's likely looking like, if their health stays strong, they're gonna probably be a top 4 team. So, you got to give respect to Cleveland and Milwaukee for strong defense. But I'm not concerned. I think there's enough average and bad teams that it'll all balance out. And when you play against some of the tougher teams, this is what it's going to be. And if Quickly was all that, and if everybody else was all that everybody say play the kids, they will be showing you how to do it when they got in there. But they didn't do great either.
Okay.
Man,
Breezy,
you almost
is that-
stole my thunder, bro. I was like, oh man, he gonna say what I was gonna say. Hey Queen, listen, man, I think it's as simple as this. These ham sandwiches got to step their game up. You bring in Brunson playing at a high level, and I understand a rising tide raises all boats and all of that stuff, all these wise sayings that we be getting out of fortune cookies and all that stuff. But it's as simple as these ham sandwiches got to step their game up. We done brought in the point guard. We had two state of the franchise questions, right? We answered one of the state of the franchise questions by bringing in a franchise point guard, right? We hope that he answers the second question of being that star player. But we know for sure that we answered one of the questions by bringing in an above average NBA point guard, right? And he played. And when you watch the game, Jalen Brunson is doing what he does, getting in the paint, getting his shots. He's looking to pass. Young guys are not hitting shots. You know what I'm saying? Young guys in the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? Randle's three is not falling. Teams are sagging off Randle because they know at the moment he can't shoot. Right, Mitchell Robinson, aside from that one shot he took outside the paint, is not threatening the rim. I mean, Jalen Brunson can only do so much. If it were me, what I would do is, instead of taking the laser focus approach, is take the eagle eye approach, like back up some and look at it from farther away. Is it just Brunson? Was Brunson the fault for that Milwaukee Bucks loss? No.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Was Brunson the reason why that Charlotte game went to overtime? No. Was Brunson the reason why we lost to Cleveland? No. And for those that don't understand what I'm saying, listen to this context. On a Wednesday night, we played the number one offense in the NBA. They came in the game shooting more than 40% from three for the season, right? That Friday night, we played the toughest defense in the NBA, who was undefeated at home, right? And so when you look at the difference between those two games, is it Jalen Brunson, or did the bench not step up? Right? I know we love the bench, but our bench is nothing but, it's a lunchbox. It's full of ham sandwiches. We need somebody when RJ Barrett's shot is not going. And so I don't want to blame RJ or Randle, but in the team game, when somebody is falling down, not performing at optimal, then you expect somebody else on the team to pick them up. And our ham sandwiches aren't doing that. And my thing is, if we continue down this path, like to what you just mentioned first, is it Jalen Brunson's job to lift this team up like he was doing for that playoff team? Well, that playoff team had people that had roles and did stuff well, like knock down open threes. We don't knock down open threes. We don't do a lot. We don't do a lot of stuff. And so that's why I'm saying, at this point, as opposed to bashing and condemning or praising them too much, just want to take a step back, allow this team to develop that chemistry. Everybody find out their new roles. These guys have to learn how to play with Brunson. Once they do that, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With the sandwich part?
No, I don't agree with
Okay.
the sandwich.
One thing, Steph, though, I just wanted to point out, the Jalen Brunson assist number total, I don't think is accurate.
Which one? Total
Assists.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a. Can somebody check it
Yeah, it's 7. It's 7.2.
for the season?
Yeah, I mean he
Oh,
had 8. He had
okay.
8.5 in the first couple of games, so it
Okay.
wouldn't make sense. He's at three and a
It
half.
wouldn't go down to 3, right? Right. Right. Um, I think let's see how it goes. That part I agree. Um, Freezy, let's see how it goes. I'm just concerned that with Brunson, if they put those big defensive guys on him, um, would that hinder our entire offense? And I kind of saw him struggling,
But what would
but
what would everybody else be doing? So Quinn, if say if you switch a big shooting guard
mhm.
onto Brunson to defend Brunson, then what's the shooting guard doing on a smaller defender?
I'm talking about him hitting his shots. I'm talking about him, he looked a little out of sorts. The defense has something to do with it,
Right.
and but to your point, I'm not panicking. I've seen him, in playoff situations against good defenders play well at also, but they had to play him honest because of the other people that was on the team. To your point, if he doesn't have that, it could be tougher for him. But we shall see. Um, Staffer, we were talking about Brunson and just your impressions of the this 2-2 week, and if you noticed any differences in those last 2 games.
Well, first let me say good night to the panel, TC, DJ Shuttle, Uncle Freezy, and of course the Queen. Shout out to the chat. Hope y'all having a blessed night. As I said this morning on your show, you probably didn't see my comment. Um, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about this team. We could have been easily 2-4, but we're 3-3. Um, I don't think it's time to panic. I agree with Freezy. It's still early to really jump off the ledge. I'm not going to do that. I'm still go ahead and be patient with this team and let them gel. As Freezy eloquated, we played the number one offense, the number one defense, and we ran into Donovan Mitchell yesterday, which we had the game, but just some sloppy turnovers in the fourth quarter. As far as Jalen Brunson, um, as far as adjustments, I think it's a little adjustment, on both sides with Randle and the team and him personally coming in, basically saying that I know he said he's not the savior, but in a sense, he is the best player on the team and he is the leader on the team. So it's a new role for him, in my opinion. Um, yes, he's gonna have nights where he struggles, but that's what we need. The rest of the team, not the ham sandwiches. The team needs to step up, right? The Cam Reddishes, the silly turnovers, the ill-advised shots, quickly the decisions. Um, Hartenstein, I love how he's playing, but sometimes he makes silly fouls. Even with Mitchell, you got to stay out of foul trouble. But so with Jalen Brunson, I think he is going to come around. It's just 6 games of the season um, under his belt, and I don't see him as an issue right now, or I don't see him adjusting to the team as an issue because he wanted to be here, and so far I think he's handling it right. But it's going, as I said, he's going to have 1 or 2 games where he's not going to look special, and the rest of the team need to step up. So I think he's handling it well. Shout out to Jalen Brunson.
Okay. Anybody else before we move on to RJ Barrett?
Nah.
All right. So RJ Barrett for the season is averaging 17.7 points, shooting 40% from the field, 29 or 22% from three, 79% from the free throw line, about 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. He was the only one in the last 2 games against a tougher opponent where his stats actually got better. He shot, 17.5. So the points was about the same, but the efficiency was better. 48% from the field, 36% from three. His free throw percentage took a dive, as a lot of the Knicks did against, I don't even know why. I was going to say against tougher competition, but you at the free throw line. 62.5%, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover. First 4 games, 2.5 turnovers. So RJ seems to be coming into his own. Your impressions on RJ Barrett and his 2-2 week? And you know what? When I was putting these numbers together, I was like, wow, because RJ Barrett has been catching a lot of heat, in the rooms. And the last 2 games against the tougher teams, he's actually played the best statistically. The eye test is something else. But we'll go the other way. We'll start with Freezy, DJ Shuttle, and Tony Crow. Your impressions on RJ Barrett in this 4-game week?
In the Charlotte game, he stat padded, empty stats. I don't even care. Throw that mess out. In the game against Milwaukee, he was impressive. I would say to you, this queen, the golden child, definitely is off to another slow start, and this is like the 4th year in a row. And I understand the golden child can't be held accountable, and we can't critique him because what he represents, and you know what I'm saying, in the terms of the future of Knicks basketball. And I agree with it. I don't want to excuse me, I don't want to touch up RJ Barrett. I don't want to over critique him because I understand he's the future, right? But this is the 4th year in a row. We off to a bad start. This is the 4th year in a row. RJ Barrett, the golden child, is throwing up UFOs at the rim from 25 feet. This is the 4th year in a row. His free throw percentage is up and down. We can critique his defense. And and one of the things that I mentioned about the golden child is this: if you want to be a star in this league, your assist percentage has to be at least at a minimum in the low 20s. If you're a wing player, you have to pass this basketball and play make for your teammates. And the last time I checked, RJ Barrett's assist percentage was 7.4. So you can't shoot, you can't defend, and you don't get others involved. What are you doing on the floor? Right. And I understand that RJ Barrett is taking on the toughest defensive assignment every night. I understand that. And it's kudos to the golden child for that. And I want him to continue to do that because I think he'll get better at all these things in the long run. But as the golden child, you can't have these terrible shooting nights and not have, say, double-digit rebounds or at least 5, 6, 7 assists. If you're not shooting and you're not defending, you have to do something else to validate being on the floor. And I know the organization has the golden child on a pedestal where no matter what happens with the golden child, he's going to start every game and play more minutes than everybody else. And I agree with it because he's the golden child. He is the future of Knicks basketball, right? But at some point, the golden child has to take a look in the mirror and say, listen, if my shot's not going, what else can I do better? If my shot's not going, who can I help get going offensively if it's not me? And it's one of those things that I felt like when we were talking about Jalen Brunson, I think this right here is one of the culprits. Jalen Brunson is defended by a longer defender because the long defender doesn't have to defend RJ Barrett. And I'm sorry about, I know that a lot of people don't want me to talk about RJ Barrett, the golden child. I understand who he is.
You know what
What
I'm saying?
wouldn't that be more on Fournier than RJ? I think RJ's matchup don't change.
Mm.
If they're switching a big on Brunson, it's more than likely the two who should be guarding Fournier as opposed to the three who would be guarding RJ.
I thought that I ain't gonna lie, that was my line of thinking until I saw Milwaukee rotating Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen. So it was like either, you know what I'm saying? Now it may just be that Milwaukee team, right? To your point, that may just be an anomaly, just like a one-off situation, right? But bro, the golden child has to at some point prove to us why he has been a day one starter and plays 35 minutes a night. RJ Barrett has started just about every game since he's been here except one, and he pouted that one game he came off the bench. You know what I'm saying? That was his rookie season. Ever since then, when RJ Barrett is healthy, he started every game despite what his shooting numbers look like, what his defense look like, what his assist numbers look like. I think it's one of them deals where I know it's early. It's only been 6 games, and hear me, I understand. I'm the main one pounding the drum. Don't overreact to what you're seeing. But I don't want to critique Jalen Brunson when Julius Randle and RJ Barrett are struggling, because if with both of them struggling, the defense can focus their entire efforts and vision on Jalen Brunson at Jalen Brunson and force us into difficult sets.
Impressions, DJ Shuttle, on RJ Barrett in this 4-game week.
I'm just gonna say, Freezy, I've been critical of RJ his first 2 years.
But you
So
can't, bro. He the golden child, bro. You can't.
I absolutely get where you're coming from. But yeah, I mean, we said coming into the season, I think on some show stuff, if RJ uh didn't score more, but he was more efficient and was playing better defense, getting these tough defensive assignments, we would be happy with RJ. You know, I do want to accent the positive. 79% from the foul line. As a guy that should get to the line a lot, he drives to the hoop, misses a lot of layups. You're gonna get to the foul line, get your foul shots. Yeah. So if he's at 79%, if he does that for the year, I think that's good. But yeah, I don't need second half RJ, only in the second half. I need second half RJ, today, game
Right.
6, game 7 in the season. So yeah, second half RJ, please make an appearance, and yeah, I mean, if you're gonna shoot these numbers, I mean, if these numbers are the numbers for a person playing lights out defense. These is
Right.
Stacey Augmon numbers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Tony Allen.
Don't disrespect the Stacey Augmon, because that was my guy. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Tony Allen numbers. Yeah, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
not the point totals, but but yeah, you're gonna score 17 points when you shoot enough. And I'd rather him be scoring 15 points and shooting 48%, and less threes, please. And this is why all the talk about RJ being a shooting guard and putting Cam Reddish into the starting lineup and pulling out Evan Fournier is just, in the words of Mike Tyson, it's just ludicrous.
Ludicrous.
It's ludicrous because, I mean, don't get me
From
wrong,
an
Cam.
offensive perspective, I get it.
Yeah, and the quote unquote improvement on defense, to me, just it doesn't. To me, the numbers don't add up. That it would make so much more of an advantage bringing Cam in for defense, and you want to miss Evan Fournier's shooting. I mean, Evan Fournier kept us in the game last night after Obi Toppin gave it away. Don't even make me go there, Obi Toppin. I'm ready to slam some Obi Toppin right now. Sorry, New York City. Sorry, New York City. RJ Barrett. Let's go. Second half, RJ, please make an appearance.
All right, Tone.
Yeah, I'm a lead where Shuttle ended off with. We can't wait to the second half of the season for second half of the season, RJ. We need that now. But I'm not gonna bash RJ right now because if we're talking about week 2, he played better than week 1. Like so the trajectory looks like he's getting back to second half RJ sooner than rather than later. It's gonna be interesting where he's at after 10 games. You know what I mean? So I'm not in panic mode yet because he's playing better than he started. Now, can he continue that and level out with some consistency? Um, but I can't talk about that for what another 4 games or so. So you know what I mean. But
Well,
I'm
we're
not
just talking about
panicking.
him over these games. Of course.
Yeah,
I mean, once the sample size gets
well,
larger, we're gonna be able to talk about everybody.
that's what I mean. If I'm going off from week 1 to week 2, he played better. So I'm not going to kill him right now. You know what I mean? But I agree. We can't wait until the second half of the season for him to turn it on. We need that immediately. So time will tell.
Yeah, I mean his usage rate is down as well. Um, with the arrival, of of Brunson. And I'm not sure, how he's taken to that. Um, I'm with Freezy in this sense. I would like to see RJ play make a little more. He has the vision, he has the ability. You don't have to take every shot. Sometimes I see him forcing himself to the back,
Yes.
to forcing himself to the basket. Like, nah, I got this one. Yeah, I just need it. I ain't have the ball in a while, or whatever he's thinking. You know, um,
But
just play within the flow of just play within the flow of the game. That's what I want to see more from, RJ Barrett, to play within the flow of the game. And we're gonna talk about our perimeter defense, and we're getting on Fournier, rightfully so. Um, but it's a mess from top to bottom, and RJ is a part of that as well. If RJ gets screened off, it's not even. I've said this before. It's not even like, how you getting slammed to get through the pick. So if
mm-hmm,
they do catch you, they don't catch you full body.
mm-hmm.
With RJ, it's like a linebacker blocking them. It's just boom, like full force. He's out to play. You know.
Right.
Let's see what happens. But it was good to see his 3-point shot coming around. I believe coming into that Cleveland game, he was 4 for 18 from the 3-point line, and I think he was, 3 for 4, 3 for 5, whatever it was. In the game, we're gonna need, RJ Barrett. But let me ask this question and start a little trouble. Are we buying now? This is RJ's what, 4th year, right?
Yes,
Yep.
man.
It's his 4th year. Okay. We've seen a lot of them. Are you buying or selling that RJ Barrett remains on the trajectory to be a star?
Oh, I didn't know he was on
On
the
the
trajectory.
trajectory, not that
I,
he is. Not that
I
he is.
didn't know he was on a trajectory to be a star.
I'll be honest. I said it before too. I don't know if he's going to be a star. I think he could
Like,
be a fringe all-star, make it this year, 3 years later might make it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's going to be a perennial all-star, let alone a star.
nah. And that's why I was, I mean, I don't want to dive into it, but that's why, like, if he had to be included to get the Mitchell deal done, so I was cool with that. I'm just like, I mean, like, he'll be lucky if he hits 2 or 3 All-Stars. If you ask me, like, if the over-under is, 4 All-Stars, I'm definitely taking the under, and I'm putting bread on that.
Wow. Making a fortune.
I mean, what have I seen to think that RJ is going to make 4 All-Star appearances? His handle, his shot, his leaping ability. I mean, his shutdown defense. I mean, overall, he's a
His
solid.
rebounding.
Overall, he's a solid player, but not an all-star player.
He's a definitive, 10-year pro. Not like no question about it. It's just I don't know how. and 10-year pro is not what it used to be. So maybe I'll say, 12-year, 11, 13-year pro. Like he's gonna be a
Oh,
good player for a long time, but
Yeah.
will he ever be great? I don't know.
Shadow, it sound like you and Mr. Crow are calling the golden child a ham sandwich.
Not at
That's
all.
that's what it sounds like.
Well,
Because
but
No.
because
this was the question,
10 years.
Philly. Trajectory to be a star. That was the question. And the reason I
Okay.
brought that up because every year, his rookie year, he's going to be a star. Second year, he's going to be a star. Third year, he's on a trajectory to be a star. Now we into the fourth year, and I just want to know where are the panel members and the chat at right
May,
now in terms of his
may I?
trajectory. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. What I'm getting at is okay. So when I heard shuttle, it's like it's sobering. Like it's like how you playing in the street, somebody snatch you out the street before you get hit by a car. Like shuttle did that to me just now, right? And I'm sorry if it kind of put me off a little bit, but it's life, bro. It's life. When you surround yourself around smart people, you expect to hear smart stuff, right? So I'm thinking, Queen, I'm telling you this. This is my thought. This is my prevailing thought. RJ wants to be a star, and the New York Knicks organization wants RJ Barrett to be a star, right? For
Double
multiple
facts.
reasons. RJ wants to be a star because that's his personal goal. The Knicks need RJ Barrett to be a star because all of the other first round picks they drafted are garbage. So they need to validate. They need to validate this selection, right? Now let me say, garbage is a strong word, but if you ask me how I feel about Frank Ntilikina, if you ask me how I feel about Kevin Knox, if you ask me how I feel about the other first round picks or whatever, they have, in my opinion, they have set RJ Barrett aside and put him on a pedestal, and they're going to do everything in their power to push him towards stardom, whether that is a media star or an NBA all-star. And the perceptions of them are different. If you're saying RJ Barrett will be a multiple-time NBA all-star, I don't know, because people outside the organization have to vote on that. But the internal stuff, if you're saying, is RJ Barrett going to be a star in New York?
I'm talking about a star in the league. The
A star?
trajectory to be a
Okay.
star. I don't
Okay.
care what the front office wants or what RJ wants. You, Mr. Freezy, Uncle Freezy, Big Freezy, when you see RJ, are you buying or selling that he is on that trajectory to be a star?
To be an NBA all-star? I'd
Star.
say,
Star. Not
I would say,
I mean, that's part of the path being an all-star, but I mean,
well, that's what I asked. That's what I asked. The outside
star.
stuff and the NBA. Yeah, that's what I was asking. That's why I was, asking for clarity. So I think RJ Barrett will be a star, but it's not going to be for the reason what you think. I think RJ Barrett is going to be a star because he's going to be popular and maybe make one or two all-star games and validate his selection as a number 3 pick. Now, if you're talking about a transcendent star, generational talent, all of that stuff, no, of course not.
So I guess the question is, does making one or two all-star selections, does that make you a star?
Yeah, I guess it depends on to what extent. Because Julius Randle's an all-star.
Well,
But if you ask me if Julius Randle's a star, I would say no. Yeah, right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, but with RJ Barrett is popular. Julius Randle is not. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, if like I asked in the chat earlier, if the Knicks had put Julius Randle on this pedestal and made Julius Randle the untouchable golden child, people will be jumping off every bridge in the New York tri-state area because they don't like Randle, but they like RJ Barrett and what he represents, because RJ Barrett is the come up from them guards that y'all know y'all loved, like Queen B. And listen, I know you love Billy Garrett and John Jenkins. I know you loved watching them play, right? But RJ Barrett is an upgrade from them. You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett is an upgrade from Ron, whatever his name, the dude that always used to get physically assaulted. What's his Ron Baker? You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett is an upgrade from all them dudes. That's why RJ Barrett is the golden child in my mind.
Right.
If we're asking,
Talking
is he
about
going to be a star? Is he going
no,
to be Anthony Davis? No.
no.
Is he
And
going to
that's what we
be
talking
Anthony
about.
Edwards? No.
No, that's right. And that's what we're talking about. So we can put that conversation to bed and we can start talking about RJ Barrett being one piece on this team together with Randall, together with Brunson, and doing what he does every night and showing up.
I'm gonna just say I had said this many shows ago. I think he is maybe a little better version of Luol Deng.
Jay Crowder. That's not.
Nah, not Crowder. Because Luol Deng was more of a Scottie Pippen-ish universal ball
I don't even
handler.
think he's at that level right now, but he
He's
might be
yeah.
on his way. I don't even think because Luol Deng could defend.
That Luol Deng could defend, and he was good with assists. He was good at he could bring it up. He could score down low. He eventually started shooting decent from three. And he was just like a Swiss Army guy that you didn't have to run plays for. And you had a star player like D Rose. You had a real star player. And then Luol Deng could just do his da-dang. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what RJ needs. He needs a star player because he's not the star player. He needs a star player so he can maybe be like Oakley was able to benefit from having a player like Ewing to play with them, so you reap the benefits of the star player and you can hit a couple of all-stars.
Right. And right before I get to Tony, you get an all-star player, everybody else can fall into their position, right? You think about, and we're going to talk about Randall. Brunson being on this team allows Randall to fall back into his position. You get an all-star on this team, everybody falls down in terms of, their usage rate, in terms of your expectations of them. They get into their role, and I would think they'll be a little better. But Tony,
I might want to slightly amend my previous statement. But let me give context. A few years back, when I was saying we should go after Jimmy Butler in free agency, and the chat was killing me. He's not a star. He's not a star. He's not a star. And I agreed. I liken RJ to a Jimmy Butler. So for those who think that Jimmy Butler is a star, that's the level of success that I think RJ could reach. A Jimmy Butler type. You know what I mean? But he's got to have
best player on the
surround-
team. Best player on the team, 25 points in the NBA Finals type of level.
Um,
Is that what you're saying, Tony?
no, that's not what
I
he
think
said.
he has to get there. He has to get there.
Okay.
He has to get there. But that's where I think he, because I mean Butler showed out in the playoffs, yes. But I knew who Butler was prior to that. You know what I mean? Like it's more of heart, desire, will. You know what I mean? It's not like he's the most talented guy on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He wills himself. So that's where I think RJ could become a guy that he may not be the most talented guy, you know what I mean? But he's gonna will himself to some things that a more talented guy might not even reach.
Tony, by
I'll
talented,
say
do
that.
you mean physically gifted,
Skill.
or
I mean,
is there another
skills.
level of talent?
I mean skills. Skill set wise.
Skill set,
Not the
okay.
most, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna need RJ to will some of them 3-pointers in the basket.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think what he has in common with with Jimmy Butler is both of them like to attack the rim. Both of them like to get their shots in the mid range. Butler is not a very good 3-point shooter. Barrett is actually a better 3-point shooter career-wise than Butler is. And I've made this comparison.
Not the biggest athletes either. Excuse me.
And I've made this comparison myself. Like Jimmy Butler is the ceiling, right? And there's still a possibility. But I think we're missing what makes Jimmy Butler Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a dog. Jimmy Butler can play defense. Jimmy Butler takes it personal. Jimmy Butler uh, feels when he goes on the court, he's the best player out there. He don't care about none of them other cats that's out there on the floor with him, and he can play defense in such a way that he can make it difficult for the other stars on the team. So I'm kind of amending that. I don't see RJ being able to play that type of defense. And I don't see RJ having that type of dog in him. But on the offensive end, yes. On the offensive end, I would agree that, I could see Jimmy Butler on the offensive end. But as far as the overall thing, hey, Jimmy Butler is different. And the thing about it is when you look at how he can't even hit a three, like you go to cleaning the glass, subscription required, all blue from the corners, from the top, throughout his career. He's not, and he's still having an impact. And the other difference is that he hits at the rim. Like they both may take the same types of shots at the rim and in the mid range, but Jimmy Butler hits his. You know, so I definitely get it offensively, but when you take the entire package, I don't
So
know. I
Queen,
got to see
based
a
on what
little
you're
more.
saying, but Queen, based on what you're saying, though, you giving RJ Barrett, I think in a way, you giving RJ Barrett the upper hand over Butler because Jimmy Butler didn't become
The
that till he
3.5.
was 25, 26 years old. And right now, RJ Barrett just turned 22 this summer.
And
And
that's what I was waiting to say.
it's me and Tony brothers, bro. Me and Tony Crow, we brothers.
But you know what? I agree with that. I agree with that. But let's play the percentages here. Most stars, most stars, you could see flashes early on in their career. To me, Butler was the exception to the rule. Most stars you see, you see something, So when they become it, you like, wow, I'm not totally surprised, but like, okay, you see some flashes.
I
Butler was
I,
a
I
late
agree.
bloomer.
I
Butler
agree.
was late.
I agree 100% that Butler was an exception, but I feel like RJ can be an exception as well. Like, how many years did Butler play in college? And then even after that, it took him 2 years to kind of be who
He
he
played
was
he played 3 years in college, and it really was his third year when he really
in the
started to
league.
break out.
So we talking about year, you know what I mean?
Age 24.
So give RJ could get there. He can get there. I think he can
Yeah,
get
because
there.
I
So
remember
you
when
buying?
Jimmy Butler couldn't beat out Tony Snell. You
So
remember
so
that?
you
I
guys are
do.
buying that he's still on the trajectory to be a star. I'm off that train,
I mean,
but
again, I'm only in the comparison of Butler, that type of star. Not, you know what I mean? Not a Kawhi. You know what I mean? Not
listen,
a
Butler is the best
KD.
player on his. Butler's the best player on the team that's a championship contender.
Agreed.
I,
Agreed. But
he's the
but
best
he
player on the team that's a championship
but he
contender.
had to get to that team. You know what I mean?
No
Like
doubt.
he wasn't that. I mean, all right. He was the best player in Minnesota, you could argue, but they wasn't
Right.
a contender. You know what I mean? He was
Well,
the best player on the Bulls at a point, but they weren't a contender. They were better prior when he wasn't the best player on the
Right.
Bulls.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So he had to get there too. Is all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Quinn, what I'm saying is not Jimmy Butler. I'm talking about the Jimmy Butler archetype because there's an archetype. It's not just Jimmy Butler. There's an archetype of that player that RJ Barrett can be, you know what I'm saying, on that path to become. It's the Luol Deng, Jimmy Butler, RJ Barrett type of, you know what I'm saying?
Wait,
Because I
Offensively,
mean,
are you saying he has the right
offensively,
coach then?
offensively, defensively, I
And
don't see
and
it.
and that's why I said that there's no way I think the coach really was ever on the hot seat, really, because the organization loves RJ. they definitely like Tibbs, and RJ speaks highly of Tibbs. So where's the coach really going if RJ is the golden child? And the golden child likes the coach.
All right. We
Hmm.
shall see. I'm selling, but I see RJ Barrett as a very good um, NBA player, and you need guys like RJ Barrett on championship teams.
Believe that.
All right, let's go to Randall on the season.
My favorite.
18. What is that? 18 points, 9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.5. Excuse me, 2.2 turnovers, shooting 24% from the 3-point line. The first 4 games, he was shooting 30% from the 3-point line. Something is off here.
Yeah,
No,
Steph
Yeah,
that
doing
might
because
be right. That
if
might
he
be
did,
right. And the last 2 games, he hasn't even taken a 3-pointer, which I love. Which I just totally love. Like, know
but
your strengths. Yep,
something has to be off because his wouldn't his percentage still be the same if he didn't
is
take any, he didn't miss any.
that's true. It
Steph
would be
doing
the
the new
same.
math. Steph doing the new
Yeah,
math.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Something is all right. All right. I might have been a little fast. First 4 games, 20 points. Last 2 games, 14 and a half. Shot 47% from the field. The first 4 games, 35% the last 2 games. We'll leave the 3 points for sure for now, but it's not great. 72% from the line, 68.4. 8.8 rebounds, actually went up 10.5. 6.5 assists went down 4.5. But the turnovers, the last 2 games, 3.5. So, what's your impressions of Randall this week, 2-2? If you want to talk about him over the season as well.
May I start,
And
please?
yeah, yes, you can start.
Um, you know, I feel like I feel like that I like Obi Toppin almost as much as most people. And I feel like I need Obi Toppin to be a star in his role. But I don't think his role is to, you know, take away from Randall playing the 32 to 34 minutes minimum that he needs to play per game, because in my mind, and for what I'm still seeing, he is still the best player on the team. He's the guy that other teams have to game plan to stop. He's really the only person that you're sending double teams on. Thankfully, Brunson's doing better with managing the offense, so Randall doesn't have the ball as much. The thing that most people were slamming Randall about the most was his turnovers, and the turnovers are down. So, I mean, his field goal percentage is not super high, but if at the end of the year you told me he shot 44%, I wouldn't really be upset. I'd like it to be 46, 47, maybe 48, but if it's 44, that's not really too bad. The 3-point percentage, yeah, please, less threes, and we don't need you to be at 24%. But 70 from the line consistently with his 9 to 10 rebounds, assists are reasonable. He's not handling the ball as much, so they're a little lower than what they have been the past couple of years. But to me, most importantly, compared to what he's been the other years, the turnovers are down. Yeah, up in the last 2 games, better teams, I get it. But overall, he's still at 2.2. If he's at 2.2 at the end of the year, are we not happy with that? I mean, to me, he's holding his own. There was reason to believe coming to the season that he was going to start off slow. The fans were going to be bashing him, and he wouldn't get off to a decent start. Yeah, I mean, I'm more happy with him than I am with RJ. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm happy too. I like he's playing faster. His handle is tighter. He's quicker. He's more decisive.
He's
But the
giving the ball.
turnovers did come.
He's
He
giving
he is
he's giving the ball up to the guards and letting Brunson bring it up. He's not insisting to bring the ball up the way he's done in the past. And you know,
yeah.
I
But
just
I think
I feel
mhm.
like he is getting worn out there on the court a little bit though. So I'm hoping that continues to happen, and then that allows him to sit because he's playing hard, and Obi can get in there and play the minutes he plays, and bring that shot in the armor energy. I think it's a great 1-2 combo. I think power forward is definitely the most dependable in the best position that we have right now.
Oh wow. That's
Collectively,
pretty
collectively,
okay. I
collectively.
like that center position in the point guard position as well. Listen, Randle is doing better. Randle against the tougher teams, like the other players on our team, struggled and turned the ball over and missed at the hoop, and he has to get better. That's it. We're not going to be playing the Detroits and the Orlandos throughout the
Every
season.
night.
We're going to play
Yeah.
some tough teams. If we're going to win 50 games, like Freezy said, we're going to finish the top 6. It's because we've beaten
Freezy said
some
that.
of the
Freezy
top
said that.
playoff teams.
Freezy said that. Freezy said we're going to win 50 games.
I remember that. Unless
Yeah,
it was trolling.
I was saying that there is a pathway for this team to win 50 games. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that the goal of this team should be to try to win 50 games.
60. Why not? Why stop at 50? Let's go for 60.
Yeah, it's because the ham sandwiches can't shoot.
All right, Tone. Impressions on Randall this week, and any concern with the drop off against the better teams?
Not necessarily. I'm more concerned with Brunson and Randall both having bad games in the same game. I think if one of the two of them are on, I think that bodes well for us, as opposed to if they're both having a bad game in the same game. I think it's like 90% chance we're gonna lose that game, even if some of the other guys are stepping up. I think some of the other guys will have to have like games of their lives to kind of carry us if those two are both having a bad game at the same game. So I think as long as one of the two of them, Randall or Brunson, is having a good game, or even having good, just not having bad moments at the same time. You know what I mean? It could be the same game, but not at the same time. Where so now they could feed off. All right, I'm not. I don't got it right now. Go ahead and eat. But when they both struggling, it's gonna be a bad. It's gonna be a long night, and I don't foresee that happening more times than not.
Yeah. Are we buying or selling that Randall in year 9 can be a different player than we've seen so far?
I mean, I think we've seen his Nick tenure, or over the 9 years. I think we've seen different Randalls anyway. So
Yeah.
I think he has multi facets to his game. It's really about figuring out from game to game what we need. You know what I mean?
I think it's also the roster. I mean, he came into the league with a Kobe Bryant. He went to New Orleans and had an Anthony Davis. You know what I mean? So when you are playing with players that you know are an upper echelon level player, I mean, even Kobe in his latter years was still Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? And he was still a new guy coming into the league. So, he kind of fell more in line. But on this Knicks team, the time he's been here, there hasn't been a player better than him the entire time. So
Right.
he's gonna walk around like he's the big dog on campus, and he's gonna play like it, demand the ball like it, shoot like it, etc. So that's what we've received, and that's what we got. And to be honest with you, we shouldn't be expecting anything different. At least he's willing to take on the role to do that. The time he's been here, the team hasn't been that good. So let's get him somebody better than him, so he doesn't have to be somebody that he's not really overly qualified to be.
Mm-hmm. Let me just get to some of these chats before I get to Freezy. Dan Marrero, he is going to fall somewhere between his MIP season and last year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Marcus Miller, we can expect a fringe all-star Power forward. DJ Space Ghost Randall is our best player at the moment.
Respect the DJ. You heard?
Yeah. Majid Wheeler, he's playing terrible. He said, let's keep it real here. Yeah, and this is what he said. And he said, he's playing terrible, y'all. I'm going to keep it real. I'm keeping it
Nah,
real.
I can't. I mean, so if he's playing terrible, what is everybody else doing?
Right. That's my point.
And so, to Freezy's point, it's like, well, we can't say nothing about Brunson if Randall's playing terrible. What is RJ doing? Is RJ playing better than Randall? I don't think so. Mitchell Robinson, your starting center that can't even play more minutes than the backup center. The backup center is averaging more minutes than the starter,
and points,
and the backup is averaging more rebounds.
Well, we're gonna
and
get
assists.
we're gonna get to Mitch. I mean, some of that could be him getting into foul trouble for just flying around and helping with our piss poor perimeter defense. We'll talk about Mitch. For me, go ahead, Freezy. You wanted to say anything about Randall?
I think Randall is exactly what we need for this team. I don't know. I don't know another way to phrase it, because he gives you the perfect mix of I'll take a big shot when we need one. Notice I didn't say make a great shot. I said take it. He'll take a great shot. He'll take a shot when we need a shot, right? He's not scared of opponents. Because quite frankly, Queen, I've been trying not to say this too loud in Knicks universe, because people think I'm a heretic, so to speak, like I'm always saying the sky is falling. But listen, the New York Knicks as a team are SOF capital T. You don't have any dudes out there aside from Julius Randle that another team fears. Right? They don't fear nobody when they play us. And Randall gives us that balance. You know what I'm saying? While Cam and IQ and OB are smiling and doing everything photogenic, Randall is that dude that's a little bit of the counterbalance, and I'm proud of him for that. His numbers, it's too early in the season to say whether Randall's going to be an all-star or not, because for the first time in his career, he's playing with a point guard that's actually a threat, unless you count Kemba Walker, Elfrid Payton, Frank Ntilikina, Austin Rivers, unless you think those guys were threats offensively, right? For the first time. So it's so early. I'm saying I would say let's allow these two to develop a chemistry, develop a symbiotic relationship where both can thrive and know each other's strengths and weaknesses regardless of the opponent. But the other guys, we keep building them up and they keep letting us down. At some point, who's going to be supporting Randall?
Yeah. Well, he has supporters on this panel for sure, but we got to call it both ways. You got to call it, down the middle for sure. I like that he's not settling for the three. I like that he's not settling for the fadeaway. I like that at least in these past 3 games, he's going to the basket. But I don't think this getting on a player to say I need you to finish. Like it's great that you're getting to the that you're getting to the basket for layups. But we need you to finish. The rebounding is there. I noticed in the last game he was handling the ball a little more. I don't know if Brunson was tired. I don't know what was going on. But we'll see. I'm okay with Randall the way he's playing right now. But if we're gonna be a playoff team, and I get it's early, Randall, RJ, and Barrett is gonna have to step it up. I'm sorry, because you're gonna have to beat some of these playoff teams. You can't just feast on the Detroits and the Landos every game. You just can't.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about our centers real quick and then get into our offense and defense. I like the position. I think it's a position of strength for us. I like the versatility we have. They're two completely different players. I guess there's some overlap with rebounding, I guess. But other than that, they're two totally different players. Your thoughts on the center position?
Mitchell Robinson needs to start earning his paycheck.
You don't
Mitch need
think
to.
him flying around covering, you know, for guys just getting in the key like a sieve, you don't think that he's earning it?
No. No. I saw Giannis ISO Mitch. If Mitch was all that defensively, a dude wouldn't say, no, clear out. I got this dude right here. Giannis ISO Mitch 6-7 times.
And Mitch, I'm sorry, but Mitch wanted that ISO as well. It's not like Mitch was like asking for help. He, you know what I mean, prior to the game, he came out and said, I'm looking forward to this. This is one of my things circled on the calendar. Now, did it pan out well for him? No. You know what I mean? Basically, Mitch guys stay out of foul trouble. That's the biggest thing that's hurting him right now.
Can Mitch stay on his feet? Can he stop falling for pump fakes?
Listen, I don't care if he falls as long as he get up. Like come on.
No. I ain't talking about.
He a little clumsy, yeah.
No. I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
Better with the falling too, but he meant going for the pup fake.
Yeah. I'm talking about the defensive position. Yeah, I like Mitch. I'm not begrudging him that. I'm saying again, this dude basically in theory makes twice the money Hartenstein makes.
That one has nothing to do with the other though. Like that. That's the thing. Let me just say this. This is what I'm gonna say. Mitch got to stay out of foul trouble. If he does that, I think everything else will work itself out. He needs to be able to be on the floor, because that's what's hurting him personally. I also think that we should keep Mitch in that role. I know, I was one of the people that was questioning whether Hartenstein could or would start at some point, but I think I like Hartenstein off the bench being the guy that changes the game rather than him coming in as a starter. And now he's definitely on that bulletin board. He may not be he may be 5 on the bulletin board, but they're gonna say, look out for this, look out for that. I think he's still surprising some guys, and he's all effort. You know what I mean? Like that's what really is helping him or helping us. His effort, diving on the ball, jumping out of nowhere for some rebounds, fighting for rebounds, things of that nature. But Mitch, I think he just needs to stay out of foul trouble. Everything else will work itself out.
I mean, my slight pushback on that is I still think Hartenstein is a skilled player. Like a lot of people see him as an energy guy. He's a skilled player.
He's very skilled, multi-skilled.
Right.
But the effort is what takes him. You know what I mean? Is what puts him over the top, because I think he's definitely very skilled. Passing, shooting, not a shooter, but shooting. You know what I mean? He could do everything. Rebounding, a little bit of defense, but the effort is what makes him have an impact.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people could be able to do all these things.
And he's unselfish. Don't forget the unselfish part. Yeah. Very and willing passer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He if you watch him, he looks to get others involved first. Him and Obi missed on a backdoor a couple of times. The first time, Obi didn't cut, and Hartenstein went to him like, "Hey, big dog, I had you for the backdoor." Obi was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know." And then the second time, the back door was there late, and they tried to force something, and then Hartenstein wound up on the ground, rolling around or something stupid. But the thing I want to say about Mitchell Robinson, and y'all know I love Mitch. Mitch is one of my favorite players. But our thing with Mitch is we need the one-off game to be more consistent. Right. Y'all know the one-off game I'm talking about, where Mitch have like 11 points and 13 rebounds, but 8 of them will be offensive rebounds, and like 4 blocks or something. And then you can look at it's like clockwork. We won't see that thing again for another 7 days. You know what I'm saying? Mitch will have like these then he'll have these games against the Bucks. You're like, man, did he even play? You know what I'm saying? If you look at the box score, I understand what Mitch does, but what I'm saying is, as a fifth-year player and on this very young team, all these guys that we say are the young core, they got to get out of that young core mindset and become young veterans. This is the thing that I'm talking about, like Mitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? This whole young core, we got him in the second round. That story was cute 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's 5 years later. You know what I'm saying? And Mitch is still a single-digit scorer and a single-digit rebounder. You know what I'm saying? He's not 12 and 8 or 9 points, 11 rebounds. Mitchell Robinson is basically 8 points and 8 rebounds, making $15 million a year.
And Freezy, that's been my argument as well. But would you say this year, though, that there are some things that he's doing that aren't showing up on the stat sheet? Now, that was probably always the case with Mitch, but I think even more so now. Like just the way he's roaming the perimeter. He's obviously he's not going to be able to stay in front of Giannis. Who can? Whole defenses are constructed and game planned around how do you stop Giannis from going downhill. So Mitch is not going to be able to do it. But you don't think his perimeter defense has improved some? You don't think that his discipline and his rotations has improved some? That his defensive awareness has improved some? Because I see it, and I'm the main one that said Mitch was overpaid, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Basically, I could be you talking.
Right,
because that's that's what's been my point.
But Queen B, so those are not the things that I'm talking about though. Because those are Mitch's that's his baseline stuff. Since year one, when we bought DeAndre Jordan in here, we knew Mitch was going to do this baseline stuff. But there are other things that you would think over time would get better, like those laser beam free throws that he shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like the screen setting. You know what I'm saying? Like these little things you would think.
Well, even those got better.
Okay.
Like maybe his free throw percentage wise hasn't hit, plateaued yet. But if you can look at his free throw, it's the same shot every time. That wasn't the case last year and years past. His screens this year are much improved. Much improved than before. He couldn't set a screen for like he wasn't even making contact with the opponent on his screens in the past.
Right.
Now he makes sure they feel him before he dips to the rim. But I'm sorry to cut you. Continue.
No. That part, the screening part, I disagree with you, but that's all about perspective. Now, the thing I would say is the part that he did improve is the spacing on the rolling. Like when he rolls to the basket, he don't roll right side by side with the ball handler, which to me, that's always been stupid because one person can defend 2 people. Now he at least gets wide enough where 2 defenders have to respect 2 players, right? That's one thing I noticed he improved. But the thing is about Mitch is if you're gonna be single double, bro, we need to start considering giving Jericho Sims minutes.
Well, I like Jericho Sims last year, but I don't like him enough this year that I'm going to give him minutes over Hardenstein. I'm just going to play High Heart, aka Baby Joker, and I'm going to let him just have those minutes. And, if and when Mitch gets hurt, then Sims will play. But, Mitch has been a little bit better on the screen setting and the rolling. I said, going into this season, I need Mitch to be at like 2.5 blocks a game. So because he is hitting the target on the blocks per game, I'm not going to Mitch bash right now. But year 5, 7 feet 1, and you're not getting double-digit points or rebounds, and you're the starter, I gotta say, it's. I mean, you got to do one or the other. It is a little disappointing. It's a little disappointing, and and it's year 5. You still haven't figured out how to not foul like an animal. Like, I mean, the backup is averaging more minutes than you are. I
Right.
mean, like like this goes to what I always felt about Mitch, and respectfully, I just don't feel like he has the mental aptitude for the game. I just don't feel he has the game in his mind. You know what I'm
But
saying?
everything else is there.
I mean, like he has the length. He does have some instincts,
Right.
but he has like it's instinctive, like physically it's instinctive, but not because it's well thought out instincts. You know,
Right.
like I don't feel like he's a guy that studies film and sees the trends, and understands what players like to do, and what their what their favorite places are to get the ball. I don't feel like he has that part of the game where I would want and hope a player in year 5 to be able to have. It's like you said, Freeze, like we're beyond play the kids. Like you can't be in year 5 and I'm putting you in the category of the kids.
Right.
I can't like you're for Mitchell, this is not year 4, it's not year 5.
It
Yes,
is.
it's year 5.
It's year 5
This is
because
Yeah,
year
it's
because it's
5.
RJ.
RJ. It's
Because
RJ year
it's
4.
RJ
Year
year
5.
4,
Yeah.
Mitch year 5.
Yeah.
So I mean, year 5, like, yo, you're a big ass kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about you with the kids, like you're a big ass kid. Like, yo,
Right.
listen, dude, like, can you get 10 rebounds?
Please.
Can you play 30 minutes a game without fouling too much?
Right.
Well,
You
this is
know,
this is what I will say. If Mitch plays like he played, was it the Charlotte game? Forgot. I don't know what game it was where I thought Mitch was lights out. And it may not have shown statistically, but he was covering defensively. The penetration, getting back to his guy. I mean, this is amazing. Like when you talk about Mitch, you get two separate stories. Some people are like, Mitch is playing great. He's covering up our defense. If it wasn't for Mitch, where would we be? What he doesn't show up in the box score. And then there's others watching the same games that's like he's overpaid. Listen, he didn't play well these last two games, but he wasn't the only one. And that's my concern, which is why I separated out those two games. I know it's early, but these are the types of teams. If you're going to be a playoff team, if you think you're going to win 50 games, if you're talking about getting a 6 seed, these are the teams that you're going to have to beat, and you can't get overwhelmed by. And I thought Mitch um, looked quite regular. These past
but
two
to
games.
your point about the Charlotte game is the game when he had the 6 blocks.
Okay.
And to Freezy's point,
Right.
we get a game like that from Mitch, and then we don't get it again for like
For another
five,
week.
5, 6, 7 games before
Right.
it's one of these wow games. It's like, we need a little bit more of that if you're gonna score 8 points and have 8 rebounds in year 5.
Right.
Yeah.
If we
I
want
mean,
to
the
be
roster is flawed. That
I mean, if we're gonna be a playoff team, like Mitch has to, like, with all the ifs we were talking about before the season started, things that need to go right. Things that need to go right is Mitch needs to be a terror on the boards. Like, I need to see Mitch at like 12 rebounds a game, 2.5
Thank
to 3
you.
blocks a game. That's where I need Mitch to be at.
But what about the argument? And then I'll get to this super chat. What about the argument that he's out on the perimeter? He's covering up a lot of the mistakes, and he's not in position to get a defensive rebound.
We need coaching, and we need strategizing to to change up the defensive schemes, the matchups, maybe go a little zone periodically, and coaching does have to help. Coaching does have to help.
Yeah, I think that's just an excuse. I think that's an excuse for one. For one, Mitchell Robinson getting in foul trouble in an era where wing players and guards dominate. This is not the golden era of center where you got a large one out there and you got to rotate in three bigs to guard a large one. This is not a center's era. You know what I'm saying? Mitch on a perimeter. It's not a. I mean, come on. If Mitch is on a perimeter, it's usually meaning that teams are shooting long shots, right? And if there are long rebounds, why is our center not able to grab long rebounds? Is he just not a good rebounder outside of his area? It's a lot of things to consider. I think Mitch is a good young player, right? But the thing is I think we're still trying to figure it out, basically. I think we're still trying to figure it out because Queen, this so if you okay, so because you said Mitch covering up for defense on the perimeter, right? So that means guys on the perimeter are not defending, right? And so if Mitch is covering up for them, why are we not holding those guys out there on the perimeter accountable?
Well, that's something that needs to happen. That's something that needs to happen. And we'll get to our perimeter defense in right about now. But let me just Majid Willa. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Majid. Okay, Majid. Y'all not keeping it real with Randle. He's playing terrible. He can't shoot, and he's been missing layups. And his midi, he shot 35% from the field. He's missing layups. I like the fact that his handle is tighter, and I like the fact that he's going to the rim, but he is missing at the basket. It's early though. It's
Right.
early. I don't know about terrible, but I have noticed that. Mr. Oh no, there was a question he had. Is it this one? Yeah, it was this one. I will ask a question. Who's impacting this team when they are playing? Is it Mitchell Robinson or Hartenstein? I think both are in their way. I wish Hartenstein was a better defensive player. I would love to see him with that first unit. But that first unit defense, especially along the perimeter, is just not great. And so you need somebody with the mobility of Mitch, shot blocking the rim protection of Mitch. But offensively, we really need somebody like Hartenstein at that center position to open things up a little bit. You already got Brunson, who likes to operate in the key. Randle, RJ, all like to operate in the key. And Mitch is just down there because that's the only place he can be, But because we don't have, Hartenstein is just not that rim protector, that defensive, that mobile center, kind of stuck. Any thoughts on that question, Amani the Great from Minneapolis? Which one is impacting winning or impacting the team?
I agree. They both are in different ways. So there's no. I mean, both things can be true. They both are impacting the team in positive ways. Mitch is, he's averaging 2.5 blocks a game. So, and he's also, I guess, of the two, a little bit better on the perimeter defense. And, Hart obviously is shooting a better percentage, outside of 2 feet from the rim. And, and he's able to distribute the ball much more effectively than Robinson. So, they're both doing their thing. And, if they traject upwardly, it could absolutely be a position of strength by the time the season's over.
They're both affecting the game negatively with their fouls. Hartenstein on the perimeter and Mitch, just little ticky tack fouls. Like sometimes you gotta let it go. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're more valuable on the floor than off the floor
Then on the bench, right?
at times. But I think they're both ways. They're both impacting the game positively and negatively in different ways. At different areas. Um, I I,
If we can
I
merge
love
them
I
into
love the
one
come.
player,
I'm sorry, Queen.
if we can merge them into one
Yeah,
player,
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that. Or if they could just figure it out, you know what I
Right.
mean, with the fouls, because Hartenstein, his fouls typically are hurting us more, putting us in the penalty early than just like shooting fouls. Um, Mitch's fouls are more likely shooting fouls, whether they go in or not because he affected or blocked it after the foul or after, vice versa. If they both could cut their fouls out, cut them in half, I think both of them will be perfect, ideal for what we're doing.
right? Freezy, B baller for real said, "Come on, Freezy, you harsh on RJ and Mitch after 6 games, but Randall is exactly what this team needs."
I'm
The
harsh
chat is
on
gonna hold us
RJ.
accountable. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yeah. All I would say is on this same live stream, I called RJ Barrett the golden child numerous times.
I did hear that.
Just saying.
Sherwin said you can't play iHeart with Brunson and Fournier. Yeah.
Queen, go to Johnny Davis comment right above that.
Why not Mitch and Hartenstein at the same at the same time?
Huh? What?
I'll tell you this though. I like to see Hartenstein and Sims on the floor together.
Yeah.
Sims is really more of a power forward than a center. So,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if something were to happen to Mitch or to Obi, I definitely see Sims as the one to get the power forward minutes, and yet we might see that at some point. Maybe a guy gets a night off, so yeah, you might see that soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think I have one more question. Then we're not going to get to them all. Let's talk about um. Let's talk about our defense. And I'm just going to ask one question. Right now, our defensive rating is 16th in the league, 111.4. Are you buying and selling that the Knicks will end the season top 10 in defensive rating, opponent field goal percentage, and opponent 3-point percentage?
All of those?
Yes. Yep. I would. Yep. I think the Knicks have the potential to be not only a top 10 defense, I'm willing to say top 5 when we get our mojo going. When we get our mojo going. And I know that sounds blasphemy, but here's the blasphemous part. Not only do I think we're going to be top 10 defensively, I think we're going to be top 10 offensively.
Well, that's the
And
next question.
Yeah. And so my thing is how do we get to this point right here? We are going to get to this place when Optimus Grimes gets back. When Optimus Grimes gets back, then you're going to see a lot of those things that Mitch had to cover up on the perimeter. Grimes in limited minutes. I'm not saying Grimes is going to play 42 minutes or he's going to be the starter. But what I'm saying is what has hurt us. I'll give an example. What hurt us in the Memphis Grizzlies loss is there was a 3-minute stretch where John Morant went off and pushed the lead from, I think the Knicks had like a 3-point lead to the Grizzlies going up by 5, right? If we had a Grimes to slow Ja down, because you're not going to stop him. The dude might be the MVP of the league this year, or at least in the conversation, but it's too early to tell. But when you got when you got Mitch having to come up from his spot to cover Ja, it leaves gaps in the defense. If you have Optimus Grimes, you don't have to. You can keep the integrity of your defense. And now everybody who's shooting has a hand in their face, and nobody is being fouled. And so if Frank Ntilikina can stay healthy, if he can stay healthy, did I call Grimes Frank? Whatever it is, whatever his name is. If Grimes can stay healthy, right, then we're talking about the integrity of this defense that we covet being truly what it is. Now, RJ Barrett is not guarding Ja. You have Grimes guarding Ja. Now you have RJ Barrett guarding the Desmond Baines of the world. And it makes your entire defense look different. Now Julius Randle, now Mitchell Robinson doesn't have to come up and cut off Ja and give up a back door to Aldiana, whatever his name is. Now Randle can stay pasted to his man. Right? So
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know little things mean a lot, right? And all we have to do is maintain our defensive integrity against most teams on most nights. And I think this defense, because what we didn't look at is before the Charlotte game, the Knicks had the number 2 defense in the NBA before the Charlotte game, right? Then we played the best offense in the league. Then we played the best defense in the league. And then we fell apart against Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's something to that. It's not just that this team sucks defensively. I think it's when we play teams at full strength, I think we'll be a different animal.
But Freezy, doesn't that tell us something about our defense? Like, can't you say that our defense was almost like fool's gold because of the level of competition that we were playing? And that when we got to the big boys, we weren't able to keep up. And that's more of an indication of our defense. I mean, just from the eye test, just the, 3-point, our 3-point opponent 3-point percentage is good. But when you're watching the game, we're giving up 3-pointers all over the place.
Right.
Guys are being able to get past their players, the Knicks, at will. Like, our perimeter defense is porous.
Right.
So,
we held Memphis in 48 minutes and overtime. We held them to 38.5% shooting from the floor in 53 minutes.
I get that.
That's not fool's gold. That was the first game of the season.
And even in Milwaukee didn't shoot well either. But I don't think that was the Knicks, though. They had the shots. They just weren't a good shooting team. And that's what allowed the Knicks to hang around in that Milwaukee game. I'm concerned about the Knicks defense. That's all I'm saying. I'm concerned about the Knicks defense.
Are you concerned about Optimus Grimes? You don't think Optimus Grimes can fix it?
No. I think we need more than that, because it's not just Fournier. You got Brunson, Fournier, and RJ up top.
Okay.
So if it was just Fournier, I think Grimes is going to help. But what are you going to do with RJ? What are you going to do with Brunson? It's not much you're going to be able to do. So we shall see.
I'm concerned with Grimes injury.
We talking about
injury, yeah.
Right. We might be talking about Cam coming in and starting and helping our perimeter defense, because I'm not sure when Grimes is going to play.
Yeah, but I'm to your question, I'm selling on that top 10. I think the offense is going to score more points. And, I said it a few times, and I'll say it again this year. The best defense will need to be a better offense. And as a result, and with the players that are on the team, unless some type of deal is made, I just don't see it being a top 10 defensive team. Top 10 offense, though, maybe.
Tone?
Nah, I'm buying I'm buying. I think the defensive rating will go into the top 10 as well, or 11 like last year. But yeah, nah, I think I think so. By the end of the season, definitely.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
thinking 25th, but somewhere between 10 and 15, I think it's possible. But
that's what I'm
in
thinking.
yeah, but in the top 10, I think might be asking a little bit much from this group. But if they do, that makes it an amazing season, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll be top 15 offensively and defensively. Top 10, I think some changes will. I mean, listen, you're right. If you put Grimes in, RJ is better, Brunson is better, Mitch is better. In terms of consistently covering up. Um, perhaps you're right. All right, I'm just because we got to get out of here. Offensively, right now the Knicks are eighth in offensive in point score. Excuse me, 117.8, 12th in offensive rating, 16th in pace, 14th in field goal percentage, 24th in 3-point percentage, 29th in free throw percentage. Are you buying and selling that the Knicks offense will finish in the top half? Basically, they will continue to do what they're doing now.
I'd buy that.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's looking like LA Fitness out there.
yeah, I mean, it should honestly, it should get better, to be honest. So I gotta buy it, at least it being relatively close to what it is now. But I think it will be better, to be honest. I think yeah, I think it'll be better.
Which, I'm sorry,
O-
what people?
Offensive stats. I think points per game should stay around the same. I'm sorry, you could throw it back up, Queen. I was
Oh, I'm sorry.
um points per game should stay about the same. Um, I don't know how to really judge the pace, so I can't really go off of that. I think the free throw percentage, unfortunately, is gonna be around there.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a problem.
it is. I do believe our 3-point percentage will improve as a team collectively. Oof, bench scoring looking good.
Assists
Offensive
looking good.
rebounds looking good. Assists look. Yeah, I think all those are gonna kind of stay around the same, if not improve. I don't see it go. I don't see any of it really tailoring off.
Okay. Anything I did not ask today, this evening, that you want to comment on? Any player? I know, just from time's sake, we haven't really gotten to our bench. We haven't really talked about Cam. We haven't really talked about, OB and IQ. So anything about this week that wasn't brought up already that you want to give a take on?
I know we talked about kind of like the week in the season so far as a whole, but um the beginning of that fourth quarter in that Cleveland game, just I mean, yeah, I love Obi. I love what he brings to the game. I love his energy. I love the whole New York passion. Like, but that fourth quarter, man, he did his thing, kicking off the collapse. He kicked that collapse off like you know,
Right.
kicking and screaming, kicked it off. So I'm gonna need Obi to fall back from doing anything like that ever again the rest of the season because, um, I mean, the turnover, you let this little guy block your shot. I mean,
Yes.
it was a travesty. It was a travesty. So I understand why people were ready to jump off the ledge after that game because you're up by 9 in the beginning of the fourth, and you know, and you just say, nah, I don't want it. You can have it.
It sucks though because he was having a good game prior to that.
He was having a good
He
game
was having
prior,
a very good game prior to that.
but
You know what I
we're
mean?
not gonna remember that. We're gonna remember
I
what he
mean,
did in the fourth quarter.
I ain't gonna forget it because
You-
I'm considered one of the people that don't like Obi or favors Randall. So I give him I try to give him his props when when he deserves it. And to me, I feel like that was another learning experience for him. You know what I mean? Like he's got to figure it out. He's figuring out how to kind of be productive offensively in limited minutes. Now he's gonna have to figure out how to really, contribute to winning games. Or at least
when
not
it's time,
contribute to a collapse.
yeah, how not to contribute to a collapse
but
101.
I'm not gonna blame. You know what I mean? That was a team effort
Yes, because we
on
only
the
scored 14
collapse.
or 15 points in that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that was a
that
team effort in the collapse.
those those couple of plays in the first 1-2 minutes of the quarter set the tone for the quarter, though.
But what does that have to do with people on the deep on when you on the offensive end scoring baskets though?
Yeah.
You're not gonna score 15 points and win in this league, and you're not gonna shoot 50% from the free throw line and win in this league. There was enough blame um to go around for that collapse
Or
in the
give up
fourth quarter.
almost 50% from 3-point
Right,
range. Like they
That
killed
that
us from the three.
that
right.
that
And,
was,
and
I mean, to me that was really the game. The 3-point field goal percentage, and yeah, I gotta say, like, yeah, there was some times
right
where wide
back at you,
open.
Paris Tugger. Tell the truth, because you
There,
real
there,
high on IQ and Obi and those guys, and they not it. So, and you still holding on to the fact if you give them a few more minutes, they're gonna blossom and open like an umbrella, and
it,
we gonna that's what's holding them back because they not getting
and
minutes.
Steph, that I gotta keep it true. That's where the spirit of where my point is coming from, and why I wanted to highlight Randall's performances also, how well he's played, because there's just been this talk like, yo, you gotta move Randall, get him out the way, stop playing him so many minutes, play Obi, play Obi, play Obi. Well, listen, this is not a season where we just trying to tank and just throw the season away. Like, this is a team that arguably could be competing for 45 wins, could be competing for a 6 seed. So I'm not really just ready to just give it away to somebody that's had a few moments here and there and played a couple of good games at the end of the season when players got their bags packed for vacation. So, Obi still got a little bit to earn and to prove to get primetime minutes while Randall is still healthy. And he showed us last night why he has some growth and development that's necessary, you know. And yeah, I mean, but Obi is good. Obi is good. We need Obi. We need Obi to excel. We need his athleticism, his excitement, his energy, coming off that bench. But we need it in 14 to 17 minutes a game. We don't need it in 30 minutes yet.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Paris Douglas saying Obi is weak. That's a played like a punk. That's just nothing. That's not saying anything about how Obi played. You
Nah,
know,
you got to get into
you got
exactly
right.
what.
It was a tale of two halves. I thought Obi played well in that first half. He got 4 rebounds for the game. All of them was in the first half. And I remember saying that Obi is making a concerted effort to stay in and get those rebounds. I don't know if that was the game plan. I don't know if they spoke to him about it. There was less leaking out, more securing the rebound. Obi played well in the first half. He had a few brain farts, in that third quarter with the turnovers and not closing out on Kevin Love. But I'm not gonna blame the game on Obi. He wasn't guarding Kevin Love for his 29 points and 8 3-pointers. He wasn't guarding him the entire time. The Knicks were not able to defend the 3-point line. Bottom line, they didn't make any adjustments. And I'm not sure why Fournier closed the game. Why is Fournier closing the game? Where's IQ? Where's Rose? Where's Cam? You know, I just didn't understand.
Because they were losing it, and he was shooting. His Fournier shooting in the second half was actually one of the bright spots. So he's having one of his decent games. So we're gonna have to leave him in here.
But we were up 9. So you saying that once it dwindled, you can't take them out now because we need the shooting?
Exactly.
I don't even think it was Obi. I think it was Tibbs. Tibbs through that game against Cleveland, Tibbs got outcoached. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. He got outcoached. There were lineups out there. Cleveland went totally unathletic against us, and we didn't know what to do. There was a time where they had Wade and Love at the top of the key and Wade in that top corner, and Tom Thibodeau could not adjust defensively to two dudes that couldn't outrun me. I'll outrun Dean Wade right now at 352 pounds of pure.
Tibbs wasn't playing defense though.
Yeah,
Tibbs wasn't playing defense.
Now,
I'm talking about the game plan. So instead of running that, because y'all will remember this. Y'all remember last year in Cleveland, Ricky Rubio hit 8 3-pointers against us. I know y'all remember this game. Ricky Rubio was so hot that he wasn't even doing a follow through. He was chucking against us. He was so hot. The last 3, he took the 9th one, he threw it up and walked away. He didn't even have to do a heat check because he knew he was on fire. When he missed, he laughed. He's straight like, you know what I'm saying? What I'm getting at.
With that lineup though, I would have loved to see the coach say, "Yo, I know I haven't been playing McBride, but you know what? This is the time to get McBride in here. Somebody more athletic to match up with these quote unquote bigs on the perimeter."
Right.
Go
think
small.
McBride.
Go. I'm sorry, not McBride. Sims, or maybe this was one of those very, very few instances where you play small ball and you put Randle and Toppin together.
Right. Now in my mind, now we talking, bro. When teams do think outside of the box, Tibbs look outside the box and it's like, nah, man, I'm good in here. I'm gonna stay right inside this box. You know what I'm saying? I understand that y'all doing stuff outside that box.
I don't know about the Tibbs and listen, Dean Wade. Let's not act like these guys was putting the ball between their legs, taking 2 dribbles to the key and stepping back behind the 3-point. They were stationary, open shooters. They weren't doing anything to create those shots off the dribble. Right? This was about the Knicks not getting to their spots, the Knicks overhelping, the Knicks not being able to contain the perimeter. So now you in full rotation, leaving the 3-point shooters open. These are stationary shooters. It's not like you need to get somebody. Oh, we need somebody real athletic that can stay with them because they shooting up off the pull up. No, they standing there waiting for the ball to come to them and shooting it.
But Queen, if you know where they're gonna be at, if you know Love is at the top of the key, and you know Dean Wade was in that top corner, why don't you just stay with them? Who else was putting the ball on the floor?
But that's
killing us.
That's the thing now. So now this is what I don't know, because I've been in situations like this. Did the coach say, because remember, it's an instinct when you see somebody driving by, it's an instinct to help. And the coach has to specifically say, don't let them walk on by. Don't help. You got to stay with your guy. Don't help. Was that said or not?
That's why I'm saying it's Tibbs. Because and not to prolong or whatever, but it seems like we have all the answers to the puzzle, but we don't want to blame Tibbs. Blame Tibbs. One dude, Kevin Love, couldn't outrun. I outrun Kevin Love. I put on some church shoes and outrun Kevin Love right now. You know what I'm saying? Dean Wade is not an athlete. He's a spot up shooter. You know what I'm saying? These two dudes are going to stay in those spots, right? And then if we saying that if Grayson Allen beat RJ off the dribble, to help on Grayson Allen going to the
And we're
rim?
not talking about Grayson. A lot of that was Donovan Mitchell. So at that point, you're picking your poison. So now, if you stay home on those guys, what are you doing with the drivers once they get beat?
Or who do we have? Who do we have protecting the rim? Randall?
No. And Mitch was in foul trouble. I mean, listen, no excuses. But the thing about it is, you gotta get it early. And this is something that's been happening with the Knicks, but it bit us in the Cleveland game. Our defense has been porous. Our perimeter defense, our 3-point defense hasn't been great, despite what the numbers are saying. And I think it caught up with us in that Cleveland game. We don't cover the 3-point shot. You want it, you're going to be able to get it playing the Knicks. It's the exact same thing as last year with Turner and the Pacers. Knicks 100 AGM.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie though. I was disappointed after that.
Yeah.
After that one, I had to watch it like 1:00 in the morning. But I was hyped. Like, yeah, RJ gonna get up for this game. Brunson gonna get up for this game. You know what I mean? Kind of show. Hey, we ain't need to make no trade.
Right, right.
Looked like Mitchell got up for that game. Like, oh.
But Mitchell,
y'all ain't pull the trigger?
Mitchell looked regular to me. I didn't get the sense that he was playing within the flow of the game.
He definitely took it easy on us.
He
definitely
wasn't.
took
I
it
didn't
easy
think he
on
was
us.
forcing things. I
He
just
took it
think
easy.
he
No.
was
Yeah,
playing
nah, he
within the
definitely
game.
was within the
He was
offense.
just sharp. He was just sharp.
But that's what it was. I mean, he was precise. You know what I mean?
He
Precision.
took it
shot.
easy on us. He could have scored 50.
Yes, and had 15 assists.
Right. He wasn't trying. Right.
Yeah, because if you notice, he had Brunson and RJ beat several times, and he pulled up for 3. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this dude could have went to the lane anytime he felt. Man, he was like,
he was hitting them threes.
yes, and then if you remember, there was a play where he tried to turn the corner, and we fouled him on the perimeter. And he was like, "Yo!" And the next game, he went to the rim and pivoted off Obi and dunked all over Hartenstein. And it's like when you're on the highway, when you're speeding a little bit, and the state trooper flashed the light for you to slow down. He's like, "Hey, I could have had you if I wanted you. If I wanted you, I could have had you." And then you slow down, right? But Mitchell did that. Mitchell dunked on Hartenstein, bro. He could have been doing. Thank you, Donovan Mitchell, for not embarrassing us.
I would have preferred him dunking all over us than hitting them threes. 3 is more than 2.
And
Like,
not just
yeah.
that,
he was knocking them
accounted
joints down.
Yes.
in the fourth quarter, I believe it was. He accounted for every point except for 2 between the assists and the shot himself. You could tell that his game has matured as well.
I don't want to.
Wait a minute. Are we saying that we had
I don't
an
wanna
answer
talk
for
about
Donovan Mitchell?
I don't want to talk about Mitchell.
Yeah, you're right.
Nicks and bruises.
Right. Anything else we didn't cover today before we get out of here?
I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna talk about this on the Knicks at Night podcast. But today, the NBA slapped Philadelphia on the wrist about free agency tampering, those 2 second-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the investigation with the Knicks is over.
It's not. It's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Yeah, I just read something today that they still. I think the word they used was probing.
Yeah,
collecting information. So it's not
Yeah.
who that's for the guy from Miami.
Yeah,
From Miami.
him and it was for PJ Tucker and the dude that we had. Yo, how do we have Daniel House and cut him, and then he's a coveted free agent? Yeah, I remember we had Daniel House last season during that COVID stretch,
Coveted,
and we cut him.
Strong. Coveted is a bit strong.
Why would you risk giving up a second-round pick though for Daniel House if you didn't covet him, though, Queen? You wouldn't risk losing draft picks if he wasn't coveted. You know what I'm saying?
For his play?
No. I'm saying Daniel House's name is in the probe with Philadelphia. You know what
But
I'm
you
saying?
saying the Knicks? You saying the
No,
Knicks?
he's just saying we had him. He's not saying he's saying Philly covered him or
Yeah.
or or,
Right,
or
because he
tampered.
fits. He fit. But listen, every team has different needs depending on how they construct their roster.
Right.
It doesn't
Right.
mean that he's a good player overall. He could be a good player for them because of what they're trying to do.
But you wouldn't risk your future if you didn't cover them, though. That's what I'm saying.
They coveted him, but you saying why did the Knicks give him up? Because we have different needs than Philadelphia.
They want to win. What do the Knicks want to do?
I think the Knicks want to win too. I don't know if Daniel House makes the difference for the Knicks though.
Quentin Grimes, please come back healthy as soon as possible.
Optimus
That,
Grimes.
that's my
Mm.
last
Mm.
Knicks note there, Steph. Quentin Grimes, please come back soon and healthy.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. Oh, I almost forgot. Real quick. So then we could do this really quick. We play Atlanta Wednesday, Philly Friday, Boston Saturday.
Freeze.
Predictions for this week. Atlanta is 8th in offensive rating, 17th in defense. Neither one of these teams are three teams we're playing are good as far as defensive rating is concerned. Statistically, we're talking. Offensive rating, all three is in the top 10. Atlanta's 8th, Philly's 9th, and Boston is 6th. Predictions for this week?
Oh, man, I said I was gonna do one game at a time, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we have a productive week and we win the week. So 2-1. The first no, we beat Atlanta and Boston. We lose to Philly.
Mm. Yeah,
Freezy don't even want to do it, so I guess
Yeah, because I think
I'll do it. So I'll do it. I hate the Atlanta matchup. The perimeter defense has shown us what it isn't. Going against Trey, Nick Killer Young, and Murray, to me, is very, very concerning. They also have a guy that is a solid center and a solid power forward. So, I mean, to me, Atlanta is a very, very well-rounded team with a strength at the perimeter. So I hate that matchup. I actually like the Boston matchup better than any of them. So I'm going to push for a win against Boston. And I mean, Philly's trying to get right. I it's hard to go against Philly. So I'm going to go one win, 2 losses.
Yeah, I'm going 1 win, two losses as well. I was gonna say the win would be against Atlanta, but Atlanta just lost by I don't know how much. And so usually when a team loses like that, they're pretty focused. Um, the next game, Philly is struggling. I don't know if they played tonight. Boston. I say the Knicks go 1-2, and I'm not mad. The Knicks go 1-2, and I'm not mad. Listen, I have the Knicks at anywhere between 42 and 45 games. 42 is around 500. We got to get our defense together. Um, we got to get our free throw shooting together. And our top three has to play a little better. So I'm really interested. This is really good competition. Atlanta, Philly, and Boston. We get a chance to see this team a bit more, but I think we're 1-2.
Philly
it also
And
the
I'm not
Philly
mad. And I'm not mad.
the
Has
Philly.
won. Philly's
Oh,
won their last 3 games,
yep.
including today over Washington.
Yep.
They beat Toronto and they beat Chicago. So they're now 4-4, and they're coming here right in the ship.
And what's concerning to me is that we play Philly and Boston on back-to-back nights.
Right.
Mm. I'm saying the next time that the
On the
three of
road.
us
On the road.
on the
That
road.
Saturday game is not a matinee, is it?
No, they
No,
wouldn't do that to us. Go
yeah.
Friday night, then Saturday morning. No.
Right. What I would say, man, is the next time all three of us get together, we might be having the Fire Tom Thibodeau conversation.
Not me.
No, and I don't, and I think that's mad premature, and I don't want to say that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we should be able to beat one of these three teams.
But if we lose all three, it's not only losing the games, it's how you lose them. But I mean, to me, on paper, and if I had to tell you where I think these teams would be before the season started, I have all three of these teams ranked higher than the Knicks.
Right.
So if I have the teams ranked higher than the Knicks, how could I be talking about firing the coach?
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you in general. I'm talking about in Knicks universe.
Oh,
The conversation.
the Knickiverse.
Yes, because the two things are true about Knicks universe. Knicks fans are always reasonable and they're always patient. Or maybe I put that backwards. Maybe they are not always reasonable and not always patient. You know what I'm saying? And so if we struggle with these three games, I could see Knicks universe turning on everyone. Hey Queen, I got to get out of here to start the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey y'all, it was a pleasure, y'all, rocking with y'all, man. I'll see y'all later, okay?
Yeah, appreciate you.
I might come in about 40 minutes.
Right. Shout out to Ron Still Knicks fans. The Knicks will go 2-1 this week. The Knicks won the categories that they needed to. This ain't fantasy basketball, Ron. What categories are you talking about?
Only category I care about is the win-loss column.
Right. And lost the game at Cleveland, but a couple adjustments can make a big difference, and that is the truth. I think we're going to see a difference in that starting lineup sooner than later. You mess with the offense, Tibbs might be a little patient with you. You mess with the defense, nah, he's not going to have. I think there's going to be some changes pretty soon in that starting lineup. Yeah, the team is mid, but that's where you go back and forth. How much of it is the roster? How much of it is the coach? How much of it is the front office who constructed the roster? I think it's probably a little bit of all of it, but the coach always takes the fall.
How much is it them still figuring each other out?
Yep, no doubt.
I say somebody get Fournier a steak so Cam can start next game.
Cam.
Okay, there you go.
Nah, I
rebounds,
think
points in the bank, second chance points, and fast break points. Yeah, you're right about that. And the adjustments need to be made in terms of free throws, 3-point opponent 3-point percentage,
And
not
hours.
giving up the threes.
And hours.
And hours, right. And our 3-point percentage as well. Yeah. No doubt about it. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Go ahead. Somebody want to say something?
Let's see if Grimes gets his way into the starting lineup, shakes it up.
Listen, I think we got to give up on Grimes.
Grimes still day to day. I mean, week to week. I mean, month to month.
Oh, I don't know.
Season.
Well, let's get him back. Let's get him back and get him healthy and get him in that lineup.
I think the better option right now, or the more realistic one, is whether we put Cam in the starting lineup for defensive purposes over Grimes. I think even if Grimes does come back, he has to come off the bench for a little while, get himself acclimated. I don't think you can bring him in and put him right in.
Exactly.
Unless first game back, he's 6 for 6 from the 3-point line and lock somebody down. Then it's like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think basically we're talking about Cam at this point. Who knows when Grimes is coming back?
It'll make me smile, Queen.
Yeah.
Maybe they said maybe Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things you see from Cam from watching him is you really get to see why he's where he's at. There's some games where he's looking real smooth like Iceman, and then there's other games where he's just looking like I don't even know.
Deer in headlights.
Like putting up shots Like, it was almost like I can't even explain it. Um, so it's a mixed bag with Cam, but defensively he's engaged. I don't think he's going to, hopefully that improves his shot selection as well. You out there running with the first team, you can't be putting up, what the pecking order is, I should say. So let's see if that happens. All right, we are out of here.